is Orange Lee. I'm an artist that based in New York City and Jersey City. I'm originally from Taipei, Taiwan, and my practice largely draws from my memories, dreams, and the intuitive connection between the body and the psychological state of the individual. I think my work is in between conflicts and trying to make peace with it. For example, my current project is through art, finding a way to make peace with my mind and with my body. So from the earliest memory, I can say the conflicts come from my father. When I was 5 years old, he tried to sell me. So that became, I guess, like pretty big shadow in my life, that feeling abandoned. Why my father tried to sell me? Because I'm a daughter. The reason why he think about that, because he think a daughter have less value than the boy. And so that I experienced that. Somehow I felt that is also linked to my physical body because I have a lot of pain. And as a kid, I don't have enough of vocabulary to communicate my sadness and the pain from where I come from. When people often, the very first question was, oh, what's your father do? What's your mother do? Where they come from? Things like that. And I will be very honest question, oh, my father tried to sell me. Everybody was shocked and then kind of like not knowing how to continue the conversation. Imagine kids, they don't know how to react to. In 2019, I published a book which the cover is a Medusa's head, because that Medusa story really aligned with me. When people look at her, will turn into stone. During the trip I went to Italy, I actually see the whole story of Medusa. I realized she actually is a victim being raped by one of the god Poseidon, but she being the one being punished by the Athena. Athena turned her into a snake-haired monster. And then I thought that's so wrong in a way, because she's supposed to be an innocent woman, and why is she being punished? And then when I imagine why people turn into stone, perhaps she tried to tell her story, but then people look in her eyes, maybe heard about the story or maybe think about the story, and then will just freeze in the ways of turning to stone. So that was a similar situation when I tell my childhood memory or what happened to me, and then people will freeze like turning to stone. That was something I would like to contribute part of my voice. Hopefully that's the path to the healing. I have a pretty big changes in my artwork. If you see my earlier work, I would say before the meltdown, before I lose everything in New York and I had a rock bottom. Before that, my work is very, I would say, more toward to figurative, and then also a lot of monsters, like my skin fall apart and crying, that kind of a figure actually. The thing is though, interesting, the way I make very different, but the thinking is almost still the same. This is just different form and way I'm trying to heal myself. So before the 2018, the meltdown, it is a lot of screaming elements in it. I realized maybe there is not only just have the material world, but perhaps I have something intangible, something more in life. And that's why I started more focused on senses, feelings. Then you will see my work, I think, more toward to wholeness, like the circle, geometric shape I'm really interested in, like abstract element into my work. So it is all about healing.